The oil prevents sort of food from sticking to the pan or pot. The oil, indeed any type of fat, is an important flavor carrier. It makes food taste better by bringing out the flavors. Oil brings the lovely fry crust on the outer surface of fried foods. So now the question is, which is the healthiest type of oil? Hello and welcome back to Bhavna's Kitchen and Living. In today's episode, we are going to discuss about which cooking oil is good for health. There are several types of oil available in the market nowadays, and it is just easy to get confused which one to use. And a lot of time people ask me which oil do I use. Now I use variety of cooking oils in my cooking. I use coconut oil, mustard oil, sesame seed oil, olive oil, peanut oil. Sometimes I use even canola oil. So depending on the cuisine I am preparing. For my Indian cuisine, I love to use peanut oil. Where I grew up, peanut oil was used as it was available widely. Growing up, so I always kind of wondered which oil should I be using, and there are some special recipes where I prefer to use like even mustard oil, sesame seed oil. Oil is basically fat, and most of the food gets flavor from fat. So to me personally, oil is a key ingredient in cooking. So sometimes I use mustard seeds oil. This is must when I prepare palak paneer, saag paneer. It just brings that authentic flavor when you use mustard seeds oil when preparing palak paneer, which is like a spinach curry with a cottage cheese, Indian cottage cheese, and saag paneer. In this video, we are discussing just a general information, but always analyze your health and always consult with your doctor before changing any kind of diet. I'm a big time foodie, and I love to explore flavors and love to play around with flavors as well. My kitchen is kind of my lab where I keep on experimenting. So I'm so much into trying different ingredients. During my trip to Banff National Park, Canada, I bought different flavors of oil. It's basically like flavors infused in olive oil. So my favorite is chili pepper and garlic. It has even butter, infused olive oil as well. And so I'm so much into trying out different ingredients. But I always wondered about which oil should I be using on a daily basis, and so I thought of getting some information from Dr. Kalpana Ramji. So let's see what she has to say about which cooking oil is best for health. By the way, Dr. Kalpana Ramji has created an amazing weight loss program. So don't forget to check out the website listed under this video description. So let's hear from Dr. Kalpana Ramji.
Hi Bhavna, that's actually one of the most popular questions that I get asked. Which oil should I use in Indian cooking? And if you look at traditionally the oils that we had used in Indian cooking, it was primarily peanut oil, sesame oil, coconut oil and ghee. And in certain parts of India, mustard oil was also used. If you look back in the 50s, 60s, even a good part of the 70s, the peanut oil and sesame oil, coconut oil and ghee were more popular. During the 80s, I think that is when the refined oil was introduced into the market, and the sunflower oil was introduced, and then it followed by various refined oils. Even the peanut oil were provided as a refined oil, and then later the rice bran and all the other oils have been popular. In terms of looking at the health benefits of the oil, I'm just going to take a step back, just go through olive oil, which again is currently one of the popular oils, but again, it doesn't really suit the Indian cooking. The health benefits of olive oil are primarily derived from the monounsaturated fatty acid, mainly the oleic acid. In addition to the oleic acid, the extra virgin olive oil also contains polyphenols that impacts its helpful effect. Primarily, it helps in reducing inflammation and also has a cardiovascular protective effect. If we just go back and look at the Indian oils, let's start with peanut oil. Peanut oil actually is the most popular Indian oil used in many parts of India. The peanut oil, the composition is actually very similar to the olive oil. I mentioned before, olive oil contains the monounsaturated fatty acid, oleic acid. It's about 70% in olive oil and 50% in peanut oil. So peanut oil is one of the closest oil in composition comparing to the olive oil. The primary benefits of peanut oil is because of the oleic acid and also because of a polyphenol called resveratrol. Right now, there's a lot of scientific interest in understanding the health benefits imparted by this molecule. If you look back, traditionally we consume peanut oil, but peanut oil was not refined. It was usually wood pressed or cold pressed. So what happens is, in this process, you are not able to extract all of the oil from the peanut, but you just get a good chunk, 60% or 70% of the oil is extracted. The beneficial effects of all the polyphenols and the resveratrol are all saved in this oil. So unrefined oil, if you look, it's like very cloudy. It's not very clear, but it's a little bit more healthy. Peanut oil, I think after the 80s, has been refined, so you could extract more oil from the peanut, and then subsequently chemical solvents have been used to extract the oil, so you get almost 100% of the oil from the peanut. One just factor to consider is making sure that you get your unrefined oils, because those are the oils that are going to be promoting the health benefit. If we move on to sesame oil, the composition of sesame oil is different from that of the peanut oil. The sesame oil contains about 40% monounsaturated fatty acid, like oleic acid, and 40% polyunsaturated fatty acids. I think when you look at how traditionally sesame oil was used, it was usually used for a little bit of sautéing. It was also used directly without heating. So, for example, in traditional South Indian food, you would actually add a teaspoon of oil on your rice and mix it up with your food, and that way you ingest the oil directly. And this is actually very similar to how we eat olive oil, because olive oil is used as an accompaniment, like a dip, or it's added in salad dressing, so it's not heated, and even if it's heated, it's just heated just a little bit to stir fry. Sesame oil actually has been shown to have a cholesterol lowering effect. What this means is it prevents the absorption of cholesterol and helps excretion of the cholesterol. So overall, you will have reduced cholesterol levels in your body. So in South India, in Tamil Nadu, it's actually called Nalla Ennai, which means it's a good oil, and definitely has been used for many years. Next, I'm going to move on to coconut oil. Coconut oil is, it had a bad reputation for a really long time because of the presence of saturated fats. High intake of saturated fats have been shown to have a direct correlation with coronary artery disease. So people actually did not use a lot of coconut oil from the 1890s onwards, and they were actually switching to a more refined oil. Coconut oil, the benefit is impacted because of the presence of medium chain triglycerides, which are very beneficial for the gut, and they are also important because they actually help with satiety, so you don't overeat and thereby you lose weight. Let's move on to the last and most popular fat, that's that's been used in India. It's the ghee. It's a desi ghee, and like the coconut oil, the ghee had taken a hit. People started not using it because they were worried about saturated fat consumption, and in order to reduce their saturated fat consumption, people started avoiding ghee. But the incidence of cardiovascular disease has not decreased, it's actually gone up. And the reason that ghee is healthy is because of the presence of short chain fatty acids. These fatty acids are directly absorbed in the small intestine, and they help with developing good gut bacteria. These good gut bacteria are shown to improve your health, your immunity, and so on. So again, these are the typical oils that we were using, and some of my recommendations would be, first, to kind of make sure you use unrefined oils, whether it's a coconut oil or a peanut oil. Make sure you use it in the native state or closer to the native state. The problem with unrefined oil is because of the presence of all these polyphenols and other things, they also can get spoiled or rancid quickly. So their shelf life is really small. So you just have to be kind of not buy a bigger box or a bigger jar, but just get smaller size that you can use for your family. The second thing is, again, it just kind of adds up to what I said before. Use oil sparingly. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean you have to go overboard on it. I think this is the trend I'm seeing, especially with many people following keto. They're like, oh, I'm going to add as much oil as I want, and that actually is not good. So again, the key is really balance. Include all your nutrients, but again, in the portion that is suitable. So for oil, I think 1 teaspoon per meal per person is going to be sufficient. So just don't worry about just only using olive oil, because it really doesn't suit the Indian food. And remember, the most of the olive oil that you're using for Indian cooking is not going to be extra virgin olive oil. It's going to be some kind of a refined olive oil, so you still don't get that benefit. So just make sure you read about the source of the oil, how it's processed, and use it wisely. Thank you.
You want an oil that is not refined and overly processed, and as Dr. Ramji said, use mindfully. Stay tuned for many other upcoming episodes like this. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please do like and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for new videos every week. You can visit my website bhavna'skitchen.com for new recipe tips, tricks and ideas in the kitchen. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Pinterest. Bhavna's Kitchen is everywhere. You can download Bhavna's Kitchen app totally free on your iOS, Android and many other mobile devices. You can watch me on a big TV screen using Roku, Amazon Fire or YouTube app itself. Thanks for watching and see you soon.